Hello, my name is Andrew Geary and welcome to Seismic Soundoff, in-depth conversations in applied geophysics. In this episode, I am joined by Jeff Johnson. Jeff is an exploration and production geophysical and training consultant who worked 15 years with Next and Schlumberger, teaching over 120 industry geology and geophysics training classes and workshops worldwide. Prior to joining Schlumberger, Jeff was general manager of Amoco's worldwide geoscience research and technical services organization for 24 years. Jeff has played a major role in creating and designing SEG's Competency Management System, or CMS. CMS is an SEG web-based interactive tool for self-assessment by individual geophysicists to identify their strengths and weaknesses and to efficiently plan practical training actions. You can get started today at seg.org/CMS. Jeff discusses how CMS can benefit SEG members and improve your skills and expertise next. Stay with Seismic Soundoff. So Jeff, share in a few sentences, what is the Competency Management System?
Well, the Competency Management System, which is called CMS, is a systematic SEG online tool to assess knowledge and skill levels of geophysicists using a set of competency criteria. And its purpose is to identify strengths of individual geophysicists and gaps or areas where more learning and development would be beneficial.
So how does SEG's competency management system work?
The system has several elements. It starts off with identifications of geophysical job types. And these range from seismic interpretation, general geophysics, seismic processing, R&D in geophysics, and they're all listed on the website. Then there is a library of 55 different competency units, which have a description and then criteria for someone to judge if they are aware at the 1 level, have knowledge at the 2 level, or are skilled at the 3 level. So the individual would go to a competency unit and say, well, I'm a 1, 2, 3, and then those self-assessment ratings would be compared to the profile for a, say, 5 or 6 year geophysicist in that job type. What would be the required levels, depending on the job type? And then you get a graph of your scores relative to, are you meeting or over exceeding, or is there a gap between where you need to be and then where you are? And it's for you. It's not for your boss. It's not for anyone else. And then you choose which of those gaps are most important, in your opinion, to work on. And then the system has a library of learning actions, courses, e-learning, books. And the last thing I've worked on this was examples of tasks to help get from 1 to 2, and example projects to get from knowledge level to skill level. So that's a library that you'll receive these to say, okay, I can do that e-learning. I can take that course from SEG or one of the outside vendors or within my company.
Why should an SEG member use the competency management system?
I think the use of the system for an individual is to help look at your career profile and to be able to systematically judge the areas that you could plan some training in to build stronger capabilities for the future career that you're, planning on being in.
Do you think this system is only applicable to emerging professionals?
No, it is our first pass of this was aimed at emerging professionals, the people in the new hire through maybe 6-7 years in a company or a job. But we hope to be able to expand this to more seasoned career professionals by having advanced categories of competency targets or to be put in the system. So in the future, we would hope to add a level 4 advanced to the level 3 skilled. So then it is applicable to much higher levels. And in the outside system I help build and apply for next Schlumberger, I did assessments and validations of assessments for everyone from new hires all the way to true experts. And there's always things to learn. And this tool helps you as a geophysicist prioritize the skill.
Does it cost money to assess yourself?
Every SEG member can use the system and apply and get all of this help for free. The SEG was able to do this build this with volunteers like myself in late 2015 through 16, and it's perfectly free to members.
What is the IHRDC and how are they involved in the CMS's design and rollout?
Well, the IHRDC is a commercial provider of competency assessment tools and e-learning. And on the SEG web, the SEG is a secondary provider of their e-learning. Now, IHRDC had built a system which they sell to client companies for proprietary use. So they basically built the system that the interactive system of menus and links and everything else that would be drive the system. But all of the content was built by myself and some other SEG volunteers.
Is the SEG competency management system in line with other industry workforce education systems or tools?
It certainly is, because the first company, or the first society to build a competency assessment was actually the SPE. So our system release and building was a couple years after theirs. And of course, they have many more job types. They're a huge society. And so they've actually gone through 2 releases of their system. But in my opinion, the SEG system, because of its focus on some of the technical things, practical technical things, is good or better than the SPE system. It also, of course, is very similar to more comprehensive systems that I helped develop and apply for the training company Next, which is part of Schlumberger. And also Petroskills, a training company out there, has competency assessment systems that they market and utilize for their industry partners. And again, for geophysics, the geophysics discipline, I believe the SEG system is as good or better than all of those.
In the fall of 2017, SEG will release a second version or an update to the CMS. What and why is SEG updating the system?
Well, particularly some work I just finished involving the description of tasks. Because when you're learning to have knowledge, a 2-day or a 5-day course just isn't enough. You've got to do some on-the-job training to help get to knowledge. And so I put together for each unit a number of task descriptions specific to the unit. Like for rock physics or gravity magnetics or quantitative seismic interpretation, inversion, of full waveform inversion, all have task descriptions. And then to get from to knowledge to skill, you have to have on-the-job training with coaching, which involves project work with software. So again, I have put in the system project examples that with coaching and software, a geophysicist could follow to get a start on meeting the skill criteria at level 3.
Will this help me find a job?
It's not meant to help you search for jobs in the industry, but if you do this assessment, you can get download copies of your profile. If you go to a job interview, you could have this with you and say, here's what I have, where I am at these capability or competency units that show that I am at knowledge or skill that you need on the job. So it's background for your job. And then if you go to a new job, it can help you work with your supervisor or coach in your company to identify the prioritized training you need. Now, many companies have internal systems. Schlumberger has a very comprehensive system, as does, Western Geco, other companies, BP, Chevron. Exxon was the first company to really get going with competency assessment for disciplines way back in the 80s. So many of these companies utilize these kinds of tools.
Is there anything else you would like the listeners to know about or understand about the competency management system?
Well, a couple of things. One is get in there and try it. I mean, there's no, to do it correctly, it's going to take you maybe an hour or 2 hours to go through one of these assessments. But try it. I mean, like any interactive system, you make some mistakes and you go back and redo it. There's no penalties. You can stop and go back and start over. You can kind of look at learning plans and different competencies. Try it and see how it works. And very importantly, we need your feedback, which you can give in the system, to things that should be improved. Do you like it? Is it going to help you? Or what specifics in it need to be improved? And I, for one, would like to see a better systematic display of the prioritized learning actions than IHRDC has in their system output. So please, go in and try it. And if you're a student, hey, that might help you identify your learnings at the senior level, graduate school. If you're a new hire, it should particularly help you. If you're an experienced geophysicist, you might see some things that, hey, I could do better on the job if I knew more about this competency unit. If there are competency units that don't make sense to you, shouldn't be there, tell us. We can't fix what we don't know is not optimal.
At seg.org/podcast, you will find the show notes for this episode. Visit seg.org/CMS to begin your free member assessment today. If you enjoy the show, review us on iTunes. Your review helps others find the show. Subscribe to Seismic Soundoff on the podcast app of your choice to receive the latest episodes first. Season 1 of Seismic Soundoff is sponsored by the SEG Wiki, home to hundreds of biographies of key geoscientists, geophysical tutorials, and core content from the science of applied geophysics. Visit wiki.seg.org to learn how you can grow the world's first online geophysics encyclopedia. Original music by Zach Bridges. This episode was produced by Isaac Farley and hosted, edited, and produced by me, Andrew Geary. Thank you for listening. This is Seismic Soundoff, signaling off.